We would like to acknowledge the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation as the traditional owners of the land. We pay our respects to the elders past, present and emerging, for they hold memories, the traditions and the cultures of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples. Cultural sensitivity warning. This video may contain images, descriptions and terms which may be culturally sensitive. Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander family violence. Inside First Nation communities, the concept of family violence extends beyond immediate family members to include extended families and broader community relationships. The impact of family violence on First Nations communities is profound, especially affecting different aspects of life, including social, cultural, physical, and economic, particularly for women and children. It is vital to recognise that family violence and violence against women are not inherent aspects of Aboriginal culture. Rather, these forms of violence affect both Aboriginal and non-Aboriginal peoples. Addressing this issue is not only the responsibility of Aboriginal communities, it is a challenge for our entire population. Additionally, we should consider the countless drivers of this violence, which include not only gender inequality, but also still the current effects of colonisation and racism. The trauma resulting from family violence significantly impacts the health and well-being of victims, with Aboriginal individuals experiencing heightened effects. Aboriginal men and women facing greater likelihood of hospitalisation due to assault injuries resulting from family violence compared to non-Aboriginals. Aboriginal women are at greater risk of being killed as victims of family violence than non-Aboriginal women. Family violence ranks as the primary risk factor for disease burden among women aged 18 to 44 years, with a higher prevalence among Aboriginal women. So, what does the data tell us? Approximately 2 in 3 First Nation individuals over the age of 15 experienced physical harm in the last 12 months and said that the perpetrator was a family member or an intimate partner. Between 54 and 70% of cases, regularly victims of family-related attacks. And 32 to 50% of cases, the most frequently identified perpetrators of assault were partners or ex-partners. Approximately 3,100 First Nation peoples, 2,400 female and 740 male hospitalizations were recorded for family violence injuries. That's 3 in 4 assaulted-related hospitalizations due to family violence. First Nation individuals aged between 25 to 34 had the highest percentage of being hospitalized for being assaulted by their partner at 53% or another family member at 21%. And compared to non-Aboriginal women, Victorian Aboriginal women are 45 times higher to encounter violence.
The Djirra organization was started by Antoinette Braybrook in the year 2002. It was started as a result of the condition of Aboriginal women observed throughout the years. Aboriginal peoples were only considered citizens of the democracy after the year 1967. Before this, Aboriginal people were given no legal rights on the land that was owned by their ancestors. Aboriginal women to this day aren't treated equally as compared to other women. The women of this community have seen more disadvantages and inequalities as compared to other women around the world. Aboriginal women to this day are 45 times more likely to be subjected to family violence and 20 times more likely to suffer and die from injuries due to family violence. Even though the number of cases for family violence have been on the rise, more than 90% of these cases go unreported. With family violence always being on the rise in the Aboriginal community, Aboriginal mothers have faced rising numbers of children being taken away from them by the child protection authorities. The fastest growing prison population in the nation is that of Aboriginal women. Amongst this population, more than 90% of the women have been subjected to family violence and around 80% are mothers. The factors that play a major role in domestic or family violence are poverty, inadequate housing, limited or no access to healthcare, intergenerational trauma, and alcohol and drug use. Djirra as an organization has not only helped with the safety and security of mothers and children against family violence, but has also helped tackle issues like imprisonment of Aboriginal peoples due to social racism, intergenerational trauma, and abduction of their children. In response to such alarming statistical figures, Djirra came to rise as an Aboriginal community health organisation, providing critical support and advocating the rights of Aboriginal women. Djirra's aim is to eventually empower Aboriginal women to break the cycle of family violence and create a positive change for themselves, their children, and the community.
Working with Indigenous communities. What is effective? Cultural sensitivity involves an awareness of the impacts of our own culture and the ability to recognize our implicit biases. Cultural competence is developed by encouraging the knowledge, skills, and attitudes required to work successfully with diverse groups. Effective community engagement with Indigenous communities involves strong relationships built with trust and respect, as well as continuous communication. This also means Indigenous peoples can be self-determined concerning their health and well-being. Lastly, featuring the Indigenous model of well-being is important. This is holistic health, which is not just the physical aspect, but includes the social, emotional, and cultural well-being of the entire community where individuals can reach their potential. What doesn't work? Individuals working with Indigenous communities who operate on misconceptions and neglect to acknowledge the diversity of Indigenous communities do not foster successful engagement. This is culturally insensitive behaviour, which includes offensive actions based on implicit biases and microaggressions, or intentional racial discrimination and hate speech. The biomedical model emphasises biological factors and the absence of disease and disregards psychological, environmental, and social concepts. Without the holistic model, this leads to misunderstandings about causation and treatment, which undermine overall health. Lastly, disregarding social determinants is unfavourable. These are 7 interrelating domains: body, mind and emotions, family and kin, community, culture, country, and spirituality and ancestors. When these connections are hindered or broken, which can occur due to government policies and colonisation, Indigenous peoples are likely to experience poorer social and emotional health and well-being. These concepts are significant as Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples experience higher levels of illness and social disadvantage compared to non-Indigenous peoples. Additionally, culture is a foundation of strength and identity, which has a positive impact on health. To improve the health gap between Indigenous and non-Indigenous peoples, health services need to be culturally safe and understand the impacts caused by discrimination. Ultimately, Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples will be more inclined to use services that are culturally safe, improving overall health.
Djirra is an Aboriginal community-controlled organisation that was established in 2002 as the Aboriginal Family Violence Prevention and Legal Service. Since that time, the organisation has now grown and expanded its services to become Djirra. Djirra has 20 years' experience accompanying Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander women and their children on their individual journeys. Their aim is to provide support to all Aboriginal women who are currently experiencing family violence or have done so in the past, and offer them guidance through their individual journeys to safety and well-being. By delivering holistic, self-determined and culturally safe services, they continue to amplify the voices of Aboriginal women and advocate for change to end family violence. In the hopes to be accessible to as many women and children as possible, Djirra now have a growing network of regional offices across Victoria, including Bendigo, Echuca, Warrnambool and more. They offer a range of community education and early intervention programs such as Sisters Day Out and Young Love. These workshops work to build resilience, reduce feelings of social isolation, and promote healthy relationships through culturally safe and supportive environments. These programs aim to equip women with the skills to be able to recognise the power and control dynamics of family violence and challenge unhealthy relationships. Djirra also offers individual support services with things such as housing, finances, employment, or other specialised supports like counselling. The legal team at Djirra are also there to provide assistance with intervention orders, childhood protection, and family law matters. Djirra worked to advocate for system-wide change to improve access to justice, eliminate systemic violence, and strengthen women's resilience, and campaigned to change racist attitudes, behaviours, and actions.
Djirra is an Aboriginal community-controlled organisation designed to help Aboriginal women who are experiencing current or past family violence, as well as providing support services to Aboriginal peoples and communities in need of support. The reason why this organisation is successful is because they are a quite widespread organisation offering their support across both metropolitan Melbourne and regional Victoria, allowing for their services to reach a large network of Aboriginal communities across the state. Djirra is easily accessible, allowing for some of their services being online, with their social media reaching nearly 2 million accounts, allowing for their organisation to be seen and Aboriginal women's voices being heard. They also have weekly workshops every Tuesday online offering mental health and overall well-being support. This allows for easy access to their services for those in need, as they don't have to be a singular face-to-face approach amongst the delivery of their services. Regular support also allows for ongoing learning about skills and resources to help their well-being whilst being in this situation. Their organisation is so popular amongst Aboriginal women due to the delivery of their services. They have a culturally safe and adapt the holistic model of health and well-being in their services, as well as specified for women in need and their circumstances to allow them to feel heard as well as find a potential solution. A way to improve Djirra's service is to have easy access articles to their services available on their website, as some people may not be able to access the workshops or be in a situation to call the organisation due to their circumstances. Having access to these articles at a 24-hour basis allows for individuals to access them at any time that works for them in a need of convenience. Another benefit of this is privacy in which these articles can offer. It can allow for a discreet way to get information and support without causing attention or suspicion, which can be crucial for some Aboriginal women depending on their situation. Improvement can be increased in their organisation is to have stories from previous Aboriginal women as to how Djirra has helped them get support, as long as the story is culturally appropriate and is written in a way which isn't triggering for potential readers. Hearing a real-life success story is not only beneficial for the view of the organisation, but also for Aboriginal women seeking help. Hearing these stories allow for a sense of hope, instilling that there is still a possibility for positive outcomes to situations where there may not feel like there is. Hearing from Indigenous women who have had success from Djirra's organisation influences those accessing the services having a sense of trust towards the organisation that they can actually help them. Overall, the service is intricately set up with not many flaws and has done a credible job so far in providing many Aboriginal women with the resources and support in their times of need.